Welcome to this episode of the story. Have you subscribed yet? Chapter 155, Misty Beasts, Perils at Every Step. The Spirit Mist Mountains were like an unknown realm shrouded in a mysterious veil. Thick fog, funguin like a sea of clouds, concealed every inch of the mountains. Su Mu and his group moved cautiously through the mist, each step filled with caution and vigilance. The fog not only obstructed their vision, but also seemed to possess an invisible magic that interfered with their spiritual energy perception. Su Mu frowned, well aware that in such an environment, danger could strike from any direction at any moment. Keep a tight formation, and always be on the lookout for abnormal changes in the surrounding spiritual energy fluctuations, Su Mu whispered, his voice spreading slowly through the fog, tinged with gravity. They moved forward slowly, and in the silent atmosphere, only their faint footsteps and heavy breathing could be heard. Suddenly, a low roar came from ahead, echoing through the fog, sounding particularly eerie and terrifying. Immediately after, a massive fog-maned bear burst out of the mist. It was covered all over with a thick layer of mist, its two sharp fangs glinting with a cold light, and its eyes emitting bloodthirsty xiongguang. The fog-maned bear kicked off with its hind legs, charging toward one of the team members like a cannonball. The team member's face turned instantly pale, but years of cultivation experience made him react quickly. The spiritual weapon in his hand burst into brilliant light, and a jet of scorching fire spiritual energy shot out, heading straight for the fog-maned bear. However, the fog-maned bear was extremely fast. It dodged nimbly, then swung its huge paw, slamming it fiercely at the team member. Just as the paw was about to land, Su Mu's figure flashed like lightning, appearing instantly in front of the team member. He channeled his time-reversing spiritual energy, and time seemed to come to a brief standstill at that moment. Su Mu took the opportunity to block the fog-maned bear's fatal blow with his spiritual weapon. The enormous impact numbed his arm, but he gritted his teeth and held on. "Attack together, don't give it a chance to catch its breath." Su Mu shouted loudly. The other team members responded one after another, and various spiritual energy skills bombarded the fog-maned bear like brilliant fireworks. Some team members cast water curtain shields, trying to restrict the fog-maned bear's movements. Others controlled wind blades, slashing at the fog-maned bear's body like sharp knives. Although the fog-maned bear was powerful, it gradually struggled to jiaojia under the group's siege. It roared angrily, and the mist on its body grew thicker, attempting to use the cover of the fog to launch a counterattack. However, Su Mu had been keeping a close eye on the fog-maned bear's movement trajectory. He mirei察觉到 its intention and channeled his time-reversing spiritual energy again, successfully disrupting the fog-maned bear's attack rhythm. In the end, under everyone's combined attack, the fog-maned bear let out a tongku roar, collapsed to the ground, and dissolved into a puff of thick fog that dispersed into the air. The team members had just let out a sigh of relief when, suddenly, beast roars came from all directions one after another. More dangerous spirit beasts had been attracted by the earlier battle. "It seems we're in big trouble," a team member said with a Nyungzhong expression. Su Mu took a deep breath and quickly thought of a way to deal with it. "Everyone, stand back to back, maintain a defensive formation, try to conserve spiritual energy, and look for a chance to break out," Su Mu commanded calmly. As the dangerous spirit beasts drew near, their figures gradually emerged from the fog. There were agile fog shadow wolves moving through the mist like ghosts, their eyes sensual with cunning light. And there were fog-thorned boars, covered all over with sharp spines, lowering their heads and charging toward the group, their sharp thorns seemingly able to pierce through any defense. Su Mu fended off the fog shadow wolves' attacks while observing the surrounding situation. He noticed that these spirit beasts seemed to be driven by some kind of force, their attacks appearing somewhat blind yet extremely ferocious. "These spirit beasts are not right. They seem to be controlled by someone," Su Mu said loudly. The team members felt a chill, realizing the complexity of the situation. But at this moment they had no way to retreat and could only fight with all their might. Su Mu unleashed an advanced move of his time-reversing spiritual energy. The power of time swirled around him, slowing down the movements of the approaching fog shadow wolves. The team members took the opportunity to launch attacks, temporarily repelling a wave of assaults. However, the danger was not over yet. Suddenly, a powerful fog-hidden spirit leopard appeared again, exuding even stronger spiritual energy fluctuations than before. Clearly, this was a more troublesome opponent. With a roar, the fog-hidden spirit leopard vanished into the mist in an instant. Immediately after, bursts of spiritual energy fluctuations were heard around them, and everyone knew that the fog-hidden spirit leopard was looking for an opportunity to launch a fatal strike. Su Mu closed his eyes, concentrating all his Jingshan, trying to catch the fog-hidden spirit leopard's trail with his time-reversing spiritual energy. Under the special perception of the time-reversing spiritual energy, he finally detected the fog-hidden spirit leopard's movement trajectory. To the right, defend quickly. Su Mu shouted loudly. The team members quickly set up defenses to the right, and a barrier made of spiritual energy took shape instantly. The fog-hidden spirit leopard, like a black bolt of lightning, darted out of the mist and crashed heavily into the barrier. The barrier shook violently, on the verge of breaking at any moment. Seeing this, Su Mu channeled his time-reversing spiritual energy again to interfere with the fog-hidden spirit leopard's movements, while shouting loudly, "Everyone attack together! Don't let it have a chance to turn invisible again." The team members launched their attacks one after another, and various spiritual energy lights interwove, shooting toward the fog-hidden spirit leopard. Under everyone's attacks, the fog-hidden spirit leopard let out an angry roar. It kept changing positions, trying to dodge the attacks, but Su Mu, relying on his time-reversing spiritual energy, Shizhong locked onto its movements. After a fierce battle, the fog-hidden spirit leopard was finally successfully repelled by everyone. By this time, everyone was exhausted, and their spiritual energy had been mostly depleted. But they knew that in the perilous Spirit Mist Mountains, they could not let their guard down. "We'll keep moving forward, find clues related to the Eye of the Spirit Abyss as soon as possible, and get out of this dangerous place," Su Mu said. Though his voice carried fatigue, his eyes remained firm. Supporting each other, they continued to move forward Jiannan through the mist. They didn't know how many dangers awaited them ahead, but in order to find the Eye of the Spirit Abyss and resolve the crisis in Lingxi Town, they had no intention of retreating. Each step carried their determination and courage, moving steadily toward the unknown dangers. The story continues, and the subsequent episodes will be even more exciting. Subscribe as soon as possible.